I watched your morning conversations video about judgment, and today I used the rose to clear self-judgment out of my third chakra. When I did this, my older brother popped up, so I cleaned him out too. I finally understand our dynamic. Will he notice what I just did?
Yeah, what happens in this space is as you begin to clean out that interaction with another person, you begin to free them up to collect back their information, their energy, and also begin to change the dynamic because you're not playing in the same way any longer. So the whole game begins to change.
I have twin teenagers that are starting to move away from me and become adults. Would the rose be a tool for me to allow them to do this?
Absolutely. Teenagers begin to make those separations. One of the things that happens as you begin to define your space, it gives them actually more freedom to define their space. So particularly if they get a hold of the rose, they begin to understand the rose also. The dynamic of communication becomes much more comfortable for all of you at the same time.
I am a florist and I love roses. It's my special flower. When you asked us to explode the rose, it felt painful.
Well, it's a sense of this beauty. There's this beauty, and why would I destroy beauty? This is an energetic structure of beauty, and the beauty really is you, who you are, the vibration of your well-being, and treat it as a tool, not necessarily as something that is to be admired and held forever and ever. So this is a place where you're using something that is very effective in clearing out energy, and you explode it and you recreate it. So you're actually never destroying the energy. You're getting very comfortable at beginning to explore how creation works and how backing out of creation works when you're complete.
My rose kept changing colors as I cleaned someone out of my head. Does that mean anything?
No. At the place we're playing. So all kinds of things happen. The rose will get bigger, the rose will get smaller, the rose may change colors. But in this case, we're really just being very specific as to how do you use a tool. As we play with it more in future sessions, there's a whole lot more information about what happens with the use of the rose. So right here, color changing, be amused and enjoy it.
I made separations from my sister. However, my dead mother kept popping in. Do dead people still stay in our space? How would that be possible?
Yes, they absolutely stay in your space. A lot of times the mom, dad, teacher, minister who say, I have a better idea of how to run your life than you do, and you give up your seniority to them in your growth process through time, basically they're still there. And so making these separations with one rose and taking them out of your space, you're actually beginning to give back their energy to them. Those two roses work extremely well in this situation. Just give back to them what is theirs and take back what is yours. And as the adage says, dust off your sandals and get about your path. Allow others to be where they are. In that case of giving back the energy to somebody who's passed, you're really doing them a very large favor.
Why do we use the red rose? I do understand why we use the rose itself because of the high vibration. Is there a reason for the use of the color red?
No reason at all. In real terms, when people say roses, the general attraction is a red rose. That's pretty much it. Use blue rose, green rose, yellow rose. In fact, use a blue rose. And then ask yourself, once you just looked at a blue rose, because I just suggested you look at a blue rose, have you ever seen a blue rose? More often than not, the answer is no. So how did you create a blue rose? And then how did you see it? That's your clairvoyance at work. Just that simple statement where you see a picture. Clairvoyance, clear seeing. It's not something deeper and magical and way beyond that. It's magical in a lot of ways, but clear seeing is the ability to simply see a picture in your mind. Then what you do with it is another part of clairvoyance. I'm answering a different question. For so many of you say, well, I'm not clairvoyant. I never see anything. Well, if I said big mountains, white snow-capped, puffy white clouds, very lovely blue sky, green trees, did you watch the story as the words were being said? Most of you would say yes. 2 answers to a question. There you go.
Let me add something to that. I have this trick of how I clean energy out of my space using the rose. And I always start with a white rose and I put it out in front of me and I ask the question, where is my mother's energy in my space and what color is it? And I'll get a knowing of where it is in my space. It might be in a layer of the aura or it might be in a body part. And I'll get a sense of what the color is, and the rose will turn that color. So, poof, it turns purple. Whatever color it is, I don't argue with it. It goes from white to purple. And then I take that rose with my imaginary hand and I collect up all the purple in whatever area she lives. And then I move that rose out and explode it. And it's my mother, so I have to do it several times. That's another place to play. That's my trick where I start with a white rose. So you might try that, see how it goes. I feel like I'm having trouble exploding the rose. Does destroying the rose, no matter at what level, help? And does this just take practice?
If you can destroy the rose is destroyed. Think about it as fireworks, and just put the rose up and think about those really big explosions of fireworks in the sky, and just kind of begin to see all the little pieces of the rose be the fireworks going away. Get excited, create little fireworks, and then create bigger fireworks, and then see, you have permission. You can't do it wrong. I'm talking to everybody here. Give yourself room to basically have permission. Decide I'm going to, people with soft voices, and I don't have, what they're really saying is I don't have permission to speak up. Well, go stand somewhere outside and scream and yell and raise your voice and then be amused at yourself for doing it. And if you can do that kind of an experience and get amused at yourself and laugh that you're doing it, and then pay attention over the next 2 weeks, you'll realize your voice just went up to some level where you're not hiding your voice. Same thing here. There's no logical reason that we could give you why the rose is just not exploding any big. Give yourself permission. Make a giant explosion and then be amused at it as you play with it. You can't do this wrong. It's impossible to do this wrong.
How do you use the rose in telephone relationships?
Oh, this is a great question. So for those of you who don't know what this is, if you were to put your hand straight out in front of you and turn your palm towards you, that's approximately where the edge of your aura is, plus or minus, but for this discussion. There's a tool that we teach called the rose, and when you put the rose right there at the edge of the aura and you make a decision that says, from my heart to the rose is me, and everything on the other side of the rose is Shakespeare's theater to entertain me, and you stay on your side of the rose, everything begins to change. So the question is, though, when I'm talking to somebody on the telephone, they're rude, insulting, yelling, screaming, fill in the blank. I don't really want to deal with that, but yet they're running their energy through my head. So what you do, and you're going to laugh out loud, is you put the rose in your conceptual mind right between the earpiece of the telephone and your ear. It's a delineation, and they and their noise is on that side, and you and your well-being is on this side. It is absolutely one of the most amusing things you will ever experience, because the person is still screaming and yelling like they always have, and you're sitting there going, this has nothing to do with me. And if you stay on your side of the rose, you begin to, in many cases, and I've heard it hundreds of times, I laughed out loud, whereas I used to cry. So very simple. You just stay on your side of the rose. Good question.
I'm a massage therapist and I've always been taught to make space for my clients. How does this work with the rose?
Well, the rose is you. The rose is your space. So, when you put your hands on that client, what you're doing is if you were to just create an image of a rose right between your hand and their body, that's your space and that's their space. From talking to other massage therapists, a lot of people who are healers are massage therapists, and there's a belief that a lot of them think it's my job to fix this person. So they do everything they can to take the pain and the illness and things from that other person. And now, clearly not everybody does that, but you see a lot of massage therapists and physical therapists get really ill or burn out after a while because they do not have a distinction between them and the client. So put the rose right between your hands and their body, and you can sense what you sense. You can read the energy. You can feel the energy. You can guide them to clearing out the energy, but you don't have to wind up taking the energy into your own space. That's where the rose works really nicely.
Can I use a rose for someone I love who is having a difficult time?
What are you going to do with it? And generally the next answer to that is, well, I want to make them better, however, whatever format. And one of the things is it's very hard to make anybody better when they are choosing not to be better. But what you can do is, in understanding how to play with that tool, that rose, you basically can do a number of things in and around your space. One of the things you can do for somebody else is you can ground them. Literally, kind of just look at them, create that line from the tip of their spine to the center of the earth, ground them. The other thing you can do is in your own space of well-being is just raise the energy up enough so that instead of the rose being the tool, you're the tool. You just basically begin to vibrate a higher, faster vibration, similar to what the rose does, and they begin to change because you've changed.
Does the rose work when I put it around things like my car or my house?
Oh, yes. We have great car stories and things house stories. If you drive your car and you just make it fun and you put a rose in front of you and a rose behind you, a rose on the sides of it, the comfort level first begins to get much higher. Here's a place where you can use that rose. And if you ever have somebody tailgating you, they're too close to you, it's a great game, is you just create a rose and you put it right on your back bumper. And you just keep going along and then you just start pushing the rose back. Amazing how it happens. It just backs them off and backs them off and backs them off. And then you laugh a lot. So yes, it works in that context.
And Jim, you can also use that with nasty people that you're around, where you do the same thing. You put the rose out, slightly move it out, further out, further out, further out, and they step away.
Yeah, it's a great tool to play with,
Yeah.
especially to play with in amusement, because if you're playing in amusement, it all just kind of flows and then you get to laugh at what happens.
I use the rose to move the energy of a past boss out of my space, but he's still there. Is the rose not working?
Well, I'm going to assume that's not somebody playing and mastering alchemy because there's lots of understanding around that question. So, but in this case, what happens is that boss may be in your space in a whole bunch of different ways. And so sometimes it's like you get them out, but then it's like this whole other place you didn't pay attention to. But for the most part, the real answer is, are you giving more attention to your boss not leaving your space than you are the rose taking your boss out of your space? And if you just begin to ask that question of yourself, are you afraid of the boss? For example, you have the rose up in front of you and the boss comes toward you. Do you give up your seniority to your boss because the rose just doesn't work in that case because you're giving more attention to what you don't want than what you do want? But if you can really stand there with the rose up and stay on your side of the rose, and this is where those words become really important, certain, capable, all those kind of words, and stay on your side, What happens is you change the game where somebody is imposing upon another person when you simply hold that space and no longer become imposed upon, even though inside you're nervous and you're going, oh, I'm hoping this is going to work. Just give more attention to the rose than you do to the boss. You might have to do that 2 or 3 times, but all of a sudden the game changes. The boss stops intimidating or bullying or whatever it may be from that point of view because you're not playing the game anymore. It's really that simple. It takes 2 to play a game. I'm no longer going to play. And they'll grumble and grumble and grumble, and then they'll go away. So that rose in that context is very effective. But it's, am I giving more attention to and owning the rose, or am I doubting and hoping and paying more attention to the boss?